Hi everybody, it's Linda Morrison here on the Art of Listening Series 2. This project has really gotten a little bit out of hand in a good way. We're actually got lots and lots of interviews with different and gorgeous people along the way, and I'm really, really super happy today to have Katrina back in the room for the second time. But before I properly welcome her, I'm actually going to say it's been my delight to actually work with her. I'm extremely auditory when I listen and learn. I'm kinesthetic first, but when you're online, it's hard to be touchy-feely. But also the auditory helps me. It's helped me with my writing. It's also helped me hopefully be a really, really good listener. Each and every individual often that we get to work with along the way needs to be listened to, and that's an active word. It's not just hearing. Hearing happens for many, but actually actively listening to in between and the pauses and all of the things has actually allowed me to be able to learn a lot over the years. And I had to get really, really good at it when all of my businesses went online 15 years ago, and then many were forced to go online with certain lockdowns, let's say across the world. So we've got someone in the room here who's able to take you from where you are to where you need to go with what doesn't perhaps make sense like a human being might, and that is technology, your ways to communicate through and with all of the tools that you have. And it's profound, though very common at the moment. So, Katrina Puranik, I haven't actually heard that word said. I'm very is in the room at the moment, and she's been my tech angel, and she actually does amazing work with people to help them to where they're at with their technology around their organizations, their businesses, etc., to where they're wanting to go. So thank you, Katrina, for being on the Art of Listening.
Hi, Linda. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this beautiful and important series, The Art of Listening. I'm Katrina Puranik from Ranking Australia. I'm the director and founder, but also of Beauty Marketing Australia. So essentially a digital marketing agency that champions small business, clinic professionals, and community-focused organizations, helping them to truly be seen online. I'm also a creator of the DataSense, which is a program or an interface really, which is a customized marketing dashboard for SEO built to empower business owners with clarity and insight. And no matter the level of digital experience, as you say, it's not easy to navigate the digital platforms and the world of technology. So basically, my job is to make it easier to understand and achieve success. So, which means that I kind of sit at an intersection of strategy, story, and service, but it didn't really start there. So I wanted to share, part of the journey, I guess, the moments that shaped me, the ones that challenged me to um, remind me that listening isn't just a business skill, but it's a leadership value. And so I've learned that we listen, but not with our ears. I mean, I've spent most of my life with 75% deafness, so I've had to work all that harder. So as far as within my business and working with clients, it's more about presence and purpose. So giving people a space to be able to rise by being able to listen actively. So within my world of digital visibility, we often forget that behind every search, click, and brand is a person that really wants to be understood. And as a marketer, I help them to kind of discover that and be able to portray that online. So, but as a woman, I believe quite intrinsically in the authentic connection, listening with curiosity, and building businesses that reflect who they truly are. So thank you, Linda, for creating this platform. I'm really looking forward to diving into this bit further with you.
Yeah, amazing, Katrina. Thank you so much. For actually saying all of that. And I'm going to, and there's so much here that we can actually unpack. And there's probably some hooks for many people that will actually hear this information. Me, as a digital marketer, as I am, and have. Oh, I felt like I was almost forced into it in a manner because I wanted to look after my children 13 years ago in the room because that's what they were used to. But I knew I had some gifts, so I need to learn overnight. But what I actually did and had to do was because I didn't think I had an aptitude for technology at all, but I knew I had an aptitude for communication and listening and getting results. So the actual thing I delivered did not change. It was just the medium in which I actually serviced it up. And once I got that in my head and made peace with technology, and I would often say, yeah, please God, or please tell me how this thing needs to be communicated to. And it could be an innate thing, a new computer, an old computer, a new platform, or whatever. Please tell me how it needs to be communicated to. Because if it was a kid in the room or someone down at the gym or a person, I knew what to do. So you're marrying up quite a lot in a short space of time. But Katrina came to me in a time where I was in stress. I couldn't get the client in the room from A to B. I also had immense stress in my own personal life, and she was able to help me. But what she did was actually listen. What do you need most now? What needs to happen? And in my a roundabout way without the jargon, without the, 10 steps ahead kind of thing. I just need this. Can you help? And she was able to help, which is incredible. Um, so I'm very thankful for that and very grateful for that. Also grateful that actually, I believe moving forward, whilst we have this tool of technology, it's not going to solve human problems fully. And the ones that actually rise really higher are still going to need really good humans in the room and really good humans doing their jobs in the room to get to where they want to go. So I've gone a little bit off track there, but that's just because I'm passionate, unfortunately. Sorry, but it's just the way I come. But thank you, Katrina, for being in the room for people. You are able to meet people where they're at, small, medium, large business, but also to take them where they think they want to go. And what I've actually found with you and your service is that you're completely honest. If you want to get from here to here, you shouldn't go that way. You might want to consider going that way. You've been really honest. Can you speak into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. And I think that's definitely very relative to a lot of the clients that I work with. So particularly, I mean, I specialize in clinic SEO. So that means working with a lot of women-led businesses within the beauty industry. So which naturally most of them tend to be nurse practitioners. So they're very talented, very caring, and committed to helping their clients feel confident in their own skin, right? And but they struggle to build their business online because it's quite competitive. There's a lot of noise out there. And yes, it can be very overwhelming. It's a saturated industry, right?
Oh,
So no,
housing. Yeah. I was told when I was 19, if you can sell in health on any level, you can sell anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
nothing's changed. In fact, it's gotten harder.
oh, for sure. And you know, the APRA and TGA haven't been exactly, conducive to building that success. What I do know is that she was amazing, but it wasn't translating into the business strategy for growth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I worked with her, and I do this with every client that I work with, to build her digital presence. We need to make sure that it's ethical, it's strategic, it's authentic as well. And that, I think, is one of the most important things, to be truly seen online, but in the right way, by the right clients, and for the right reasons. So, in other words, connecting with those that are truly going to be her best clients.
Yeah.
Because every client, no. The right clients, yes. And that means listening to her, listening to what is going to be great for her business, but also hearing what she's not saying. Because if in general, people do not just say, I don't want to work with these people. I don't like this. They don't say that. Everyone by default will try and be positive, because they don't want to be seen as negative. But it's also important to be true to yourself, and to be very clear about who it is you want to be, and how you want to work. And so that's been kind of a bit of a juggle for me, working with my clients to hear between the lines, what is it they're not saying, and really trying to understand what's most important to them, because that is where I can then translate what they do into business growth, and help them to succeed online.
Correct. Yeah. So, thank you for actually saying that. And I must say, I work a lot with nurses also. They are actually, and many of them are incredibly pragmatic in terms of, with this effort, I want this result, and that's okay. Like it should be, a lot of it should be and can be transactional, except that people's development and people often don't always flow the way you think. So you're bringing the creative and the story and their story and the background and the technology all together. That takes a lot of listening, I would have thought, in the room. I definitely find the same. And the outcomes aren't always immediate as well. It's not like, you pay $7.50 here in Melbourne for a coffee that's always not that good, but you get a coffee, right? It's transactional. In the online space, and with communication and also the art of listening, it doesn't always land as it um, can. You can do all the things, but then in and behind it is still this person that's trying to run something. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I do actually know that I get this all of the time, this ebb and flow with people. I've done all the things you've told me, but they've been in the back actually kind of angry, going, it's not happening. It's not happening, right? We've all had that. But I'm like, well, you've got to provide the space, the magic, the energy in inviting all this in. So we might be able to set up, for example, in an old-fashioned business, really good branding on the front of the window that you've paid 150 grand for before anyone steps in there, plus insurances, plus, and the A-frame. So we've provided all the stuff at the front end. What are you doing at the back end? If you're angry and you're expecting it yesterday, and you don't really want to invite people to care for, um, how's it even going to happen? And this is where what you do, I know you understand that, but most don't in the online space, but often they don't in an office. Or we've all had places in our community where they've tried different businesses every year and they open up something else that still doesn't work, it still doesn't work, it still doesn't work. The location's great, the branding's okay, oh, like new fresh blood, whatever, but they haven't had the, I suppose, surrender into, what are these people coming to me really need. What I think they need is this. That's what we've put out there. That's why we've spent all this money. Can you speak a little bit into that? Because I find that fascinating with successful and unsuccessful businesses, online or offline.
For sure. Okay, so what you're essentially referring to ends up being, two kinds of entrepreneurs, as you're probably well aware. You've got those that you mentioned it before, with transactional businesses. So as opposed to those who are real working brands that have the capacity to grow and succeed online. And what that means is you've got people who essentially understand what the brand means, as opposed to, I just need that next client will do, and just keep going selling a service. Right. So as opposed to selling what the clients need, the feeling that you're trying to inspire with their clients. So for example, Nike is a great how do you say,
A brand
pillar.
example of a long-term, yeah,
They don't sell shoes, they sell freedom,
yeah,
right? So it's about understanding what the client, like listening to what the clients want, and they know this, but that ever, consuming drive to build their revenue, it clouds where they actually need to be focused on, which is to
yeah,
build the ethos of their brand and portray themselves as what their clients really need. So
yeah,
they really
that's a
do. And
mission. Yeah,
comes to
yeah,
play with conversations that I have with every client. And you really do know those that have the capacity to succeed and succeed sooner than rather than later, because they won't necessarily concern themselves with the cost that they need to look at now, but they will look at the return on the investment. But they also understand it's a journey of unpacking each of those different aspects of their brand and being able to create something that is going to be resonating with their clients. And it's all, of course, it's amazingly rewarding when the clients see um, those results coming in, and they stop feeling like they're selling, and they start feeling like they're simply showing up as themselves, and they have goosebumps, seriously.
yeah,
They
yeah. I get excited too. So thank you for saying that, and you did it really well. So just to interject here, like way back in the day, and this was like 30 years ago, we did lots and lots and lots of study with the best marketers in the world, but it was all about the before, during, and after sales process, and the fact that someone might not need your services today. So if you take, for example, a chiropractic office, they don't have neck pain or back pain today, but they see you as their solution if they do, or if their mate does, or if their work colleague does who complains about it day, night, and any in between, right? So you become the solution before, like the tone, before you know that you're even the solution. And this is where it's an ethos, as Katrina said. So it's an ethos, it's a state of mind, it's a feeling, it's a surrender into, if I ever need that service, they're my choice. So it transcends anything that's actually going on, especially post C word at the moment, finding businesses open and shut and open and shut within 12 months. It used to be about 2 to 3 years if they weren't going to hold bricks and mortar. Now it's within 12 months because they can't ride the holding costs of being there. But it takes those that might walk into a place at least 12 months to decide that they're going to pre-contemplation stage of the sales process. I'm getting really geeky now around the psychology of sales and all the rest of it, the art of sales, the art of communication. But why did I happen to get good at sales? Because I communicate and I stay present with the person in the room whom may not want the thing you've got. And that's cool. That's absolutely cool.
Well,
You've
not
got,
everyone's going to be your perfect client. So, and the thing is that you want to attract the ideal clients, not everybody. And I mean, I'm listening to a book at the moment by Andrew Griffiths, you may be familiar with, and it's called Everyone. What is it? Someone has to be the most expensive. Why not you? So while
got
you know
it.
just there. There's a lot of nuggets in that book that essentially allow you to really refine your brand, your strategy, your way forward. Because I mean, and there was an example in there. He used to actually sell holidays, right? Him and a colleague used to sell holidays to Cairns or something. He was on the high end, she was on the low end. And it came down to just navigating your poverty mentality. And he had a different mentality when so if he wanted to book a holiday, or if you want to book a holiday, anyone books a holiday, they're not necessarily worried about price point. They're worried about all these amazing things that they're going to get to be able to do. So they will add an extra zero onto their budget to be able to get the best
They've
experience.
already decided. They've seen the vision that of their holiday. Yeah. Mm.
So if you start out with that mentality before listening to what they need, with this is who, like, this is their background, this is what they do. So I'm assuming that that's their price point, because that is essentially how I think. So I'm going to push the lower end. No, you have to listen. You have to know what it is. So be familiar with your clients, be familiar with the industry that you're dealing with. What are the successful competitors that are out there? How are they portraying their brand?
How are they actually doing it? Get the evidence that they are, not just
what
the whitewash. Yeah. Yeah.
what is the feeling that they're essentially promoting? What is it? What is the end result? The solutions that they're trying to um, produce for their clients, rather than, hey, I do this and this is our price, and trying to focus on that. Instead, you focus on what it is that you're producing for your clients. So what is that feeling that you're trying to promote? And you can't put a price on it. So
Yeah.
that what they want to achieve, you then factor that into your own cost model. And so if what they want is incredible, and well, incredible, that means you have to add an extra zero on. Well, hey, that's what they want. So then you put it out there, and you don't want to hinder, because you don't want to hinder your opportunities, because you have to listen to what they want, what they need. That's what they're actually asking for. So that means that you can then take your brand to the next level when you realize what it is, what that state of mind, what it is that they're saying to you, or what they're not saying, what it is that they want. So whether you're in the cosmetic industry, the retail industry, business coaching, marketing, all of these things, you have to listen to what it is that they want. Because if they're searching for you, and this, okay, so SEO hat back on. So we don't just do SEO, right? We partner with business owners to build their aligned visibility where they want to be seen, which means that they need to be aware of what their customers are saying, listen to them, because what they need is the market that you're targeting.
Mm.
So essentially, that's the art of listening that I practice every day, and ensure that we're aligning the marketing strategy for their ideal market. Because once we hit that note, then their marketing strategy is singing and the client is happy. And everyone knows that, music is a very calming force. So if the marketing is singing, then it's resonating with them. And that means
Yeah, beautifully said. Yeah, they find their sweet spot with it all and 100%. And it takes a lot to be an entrepreneur. I will attest to that. But also there's ebbs and flows amongst it. But if you hold force with a really good team around you, you'll never flail. And if they're honest with you, then you've got the right people in your corner. You can't do it all, especially at the moment. But any business that is worth its weight in gold, and I just shoot for 1 million every year, but maybe it's 10 million that you guys want, and that's absolutely fine. There's no problem with that. If you have an ascension model, you've got someone on board with knowing how to get you there, it can absolutely happen. But Katrina, we can go on and on. We might need to do a third. So it's okay. If it's okay with you, can you tell people or do some closing words, but tell people how they can meet with you or be present with you? And I'll put the links below, of course, as well in the show notes.
if anyone would like to continue this conversation with me personally, by all means, please do look me up on Facebook or go to my website, rankingaustralia.com.au, and there will be a book now link, which means that you can book in and have a Zoom session with me. And I look forward to meeting you and discovering the opportunities that await your business and your success in the future. Talk soon.
Thanks, Katrina, so much.